Hello guys, welcome to my channel. होले कैसे करें यार, अभी तो मेरा ये से स्मूथ तो लेके लेके
427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Okay. Oof. 360 noise cop.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision?
Okay, let's reduce the mouse sensitivity a bit.
What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait.
No, I can't.
Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
What the fuck just happened? Holy shit, it happened. Holy. Bye bye my laptop, computer. World's best boss? I hate Cindy. Holy shit, Stanley's a bitch. Open. Doesn't have hands. Where the fuck is more?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Where the fuck is everyone? Michael? Dwight, where are you, bro? Dwight, shoot.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Who the fuck is controlling the doors? Like, holy shit. This office is supposed to be empty. I can like, do whatever, wherever, right?
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Thank you.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Yes, I am. Wait, what the fuck? Oh, if I die...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Dirty stuff. I wanna be yours. Oh, that's better. Oh, this guy. Senior, fuck you. Rooms, like all the people rooms.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
No, there's a broom here.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
What the fuck is he doing? Oh my god, Stanley. He's painting
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Sweet FA in the house! Where the fuck is my hands, bro?
Are you really still in the broom closet?
Yes.
Standing around doing nothing?
I am
Why?
watching this.
Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
I am injecting with this wrench. It's a very good wrench. You will not get it.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd
know.
said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it
Shut
to
up,
find
I like
out.
to move.
But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of
Right,
absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
Stanley is on the way. Stanley said he can't even close the door. That's Stanley.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Boss, fuck my boss. Ooh, scary Oh shit, there's a drawing of a cat riding a bike in a letter. No way. Checking corners, I'm playing Valorant, so I have to check every corner. You know, they can really.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
He is crazy.
All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts.
Extreme low delay. How to try that? Let's see. Here's the broadcast. Broadcast. होली इतने का मजा रही है रुको अरे फिर मेरे फैन की आवाज़ बहुत ज़्यादा आएगी इसलिए मैंने थोड़ा कम कर रखा था उसका इनपुट ओह अच्छा उसकी आवाज़ मैं उसको थोड़ी कम कर देता पे settings. Settings. Where the fuck is? अरे यार इस पे वो नहीं मिल रहा, क्या बोलते हैं, इनपुट डिले कितना, डिले कितना हुआ? I forgot. Where was it? Like holy shit. अब मेरे को ये सारी चीजें इतनी आती हैं, so I'm just going to load this down and I'm going to play it.
And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up.
No!
He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his
Stanley क्या कर सकता है?
the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of the world outside this window.
आंखें बंद करके क्या कर रहे हैं?
Let
अभी
me
आवाज सही
know,
हुई क्या? पंकज
he
अगर
thought
आवाज
to
आ रही है तो.
himself. I'm through with it.
एक सेकंड और कम करता डेस्कटॉप वाली. बताना अगर आवाज अभी सही हुई तो.
This dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons.
आंखें बंद करके क्या कर रहे हैं?
It's all I
अभी
want.
आवाज सही हुई क्या? पंकज अगर
I
आवाज
want
आ
my
रही है तो.
apartment
ठीक
and my
हो गया
wife
मतलब. It's fine.
and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal.
अरे इतना नॉर्मल भी नहीं है.
Everything will be fine.
It's not going to be fine. It's fine.
I am okay.
It's not okay. कट गया. Oof.
Stanley began screaming.
Ah!
Someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office.
Breaking
I am
Bad
real.
music क्यों बज रहा है?
Please, just someone tell me I am real. I
What the
must
fuck
be
is this
real. I
like?
must
What the
be.
fuck
Can
is this
anyone
like?
hear my voice?
What the fuck is this like?
And everything went black.
Oh my god. क्या चल रहा है?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Oh my god.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an
इसका नाम है
ambulance,
The
for just a
Stanley's
few brief
Parable.
moments, she considered the strange man.
मस्त
He
गेम
was
है.
obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment,
अरे.
she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal.
रुक जाओ और इसको थोड़ा सा कम बोलता हूँ.
I am sane. I am in control.
हर कोई self absorbed है
I
भैंचोद.
know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life.
Oof.
She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Run away. Holy shit. बेचारे को पड़ावा छोड़ के चली गई. ऐसे भी कोई जाता है? Oh my god. That was one of the endings. Fuck.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Holy
Stanley
shit.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Holy shit. मेरे को समझ आया game. Hallway में करते.
Stanley came to a set of two open doors. He entered the door on his left. This was not
Fuck
the
you,
correct
I'm
way to
going
the
right.
meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
अरे admiration बड़ी चीज़ है.
Wow. Yes. This room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous
Number
room.
one, dad.
Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour
I
on
love
his way to
mom.
the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible
Let me go down settings.
even to consider. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Should I? Should I? Should I? Okay, I should.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
अरे
Oh, no, it's to the right, man.
my god.
No,
My god.
not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was
Holy.
it? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
He's out of script. He's out of script. I have won the game.
Down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Let's wait. Let's wait a bit. If I cross, you'll shut it. I won't cross. Jiggle P. Oh, okay, I'm impatient. What the fuck is this?
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just need to get back to, who am I kidding?
Holy,
Rubbish now. The whole story
holy,
is completely unusable.
holy.
Rather than waste my time trying to
Holy.
salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning.
No.
This time, suppose we don't wander so far off track.
No,
From
don't.
the top.
What is this? What the fuck? I'm confused. This is good. Holy shit.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley... Wait, what?
What?
No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game.
Did you though?
Everything should be...
Did you though?
Change.
Yes.
Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story.
Exactly,
It was
bitch.
right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Which door should I pick? Shall I pick? This one is another door. This one is like... How this is connected. This is left. This is also connected. Oh, this one goes somewhere.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we just Do we need to restart the game again?
No.
Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again. It's
Oh,
gotta be better than this.
fuck, I'm
Okay,
lost.
let's give it a shot. Why not?
No, no. What the fuck? You're so annoying. Last time, okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Again, this will be the same.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Open the door. Yes, thank you. Holy. You're not a good storyteller. You're confusing me.
Aha! I knew we missed something.
What did we
The
miss?
story. Here it comes.
What did we miss?
No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay,
What the
let's head
fuck?
back the other way and retrace our steps.
Okay, now you're fucking with me, bro. Holy shit, this is annoying. Oh my god, what the fuck?
Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think
You
so.
tell me, bro.
I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct?
Holy.
Do you remember, Stanley?
I don't know.
Since
I
I've
don't know.
completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations!
Wait, seriously?
I know you put in a lot of work,
No.
and it really paid off. Sam.
Nope.
Good job.
I did a really bad job, bro.
Oh, no. I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work.
Hey, yo, I did.
Some people
I
live
worked
fair and
hard.
square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay? I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
No, bro. It's like 10th restart already.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line.
Trademark.
Just follow the line.
Say
How simple is that?
Wait, what the fuck? Aren't you supposed to go this way? Stan, yours. Narrator, yours.
No, I'm down. We're leaving it up to the line from now on.
Aww. Oh, yes, so nice. Okay, brother. Let's see. Zoom or smooth cut. Zoom.
You see, the line knows where the story is.
Does
It's
it?
over in
Does
this
it?
direction.
Does
Onward,
it?
Stanley, to destiny.
To Dostona?
Here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination
Wait,
is
but
inevitably
why the
connected
fuck is
to
so
you
many cups?
via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there.
Yeah, I need
I'd
to
like
climb.
apologize.
Okay,
Sure where
I
I was
forgive
going
you.
with all that.
Uh,
You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Okay, alright, music. How the fuck I'm supposed to climb there? Okay. I'm not gonna climb up there, bro. Holy shit. Where the fuck are we going? Where the fuck are we going? Where the fuck are we going? Where the fuck are we going?
Cut the music. Go back and look at that fern.
Fuck off.
Wait, back at the office? No, no, no. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
I don't know, but I'm confused.
Again, Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted
Thank you, Line. Thank you, Line.
everything we've been through, you... No, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
No. So am I? This is. Let's go.
Stanley, I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us?
Nothing.
Intelligent people, right?
Yes.
Why can't we make up our own story?
Yes.
Something exciting, daring.
Open it. Open it.
This all sounds perfectly doable. Why
Open
we
it.
simply start wandering in? Well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Yes, of course. I knew it, bitch. It's okay.
Yes, this is exciting.
Is it though?
Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What
This
do you
doesn't
want
even
your
make
story to
sense.
be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Are you ready for it? Okay, little bit confusion, but it's okay. We'll go again. We are doing it in the hallway, guys. Crouch doing pa 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 pa. Holy. Holy, I'm dizzy.
Oh no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story.
Okay.
No lines or monitor rooms. Just
Okay.
don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Cool, I'll not acknowledge it, but it took me to something sussy by Castle for that. Cool, I'll not acknowledge it, but it took me to something sussy by Castle for that. Games audio is really low, bro. Okay. Narrator, you're not.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin.
I don't
So
understand
starting
anything.
from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going?
No.
And since the answer is clearly yes,
No.
then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one.
It's not.
Another victory for logic.
Wow.
Come, Stanley, our destiny
Really
awaits.
crazy logic, bro. No, I don't want it to end. Fuck, what the fuck? Ah, fuck it.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes?
What the fuck?
It's
This
all
is not the ending I want. I don't
determined.
wanna die.
So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on.
Exactly.
I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle?
I don't
The,
know.
whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us?
Yes,
Will
someone
something
will
happen?
come for us.
So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind
Bro, open up.
of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now.
What is
We'll
it?
find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
What the fuck just happened?
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall.
I don't recall the painting. Holy, I'm confused again.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his... Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
What the fuck? Huh? What happened? Holy. I've got the feeling money is for stealing, but not yours, of course. So that's a lovely purse. Extreme bathrooms, okay. It doesn't have reflection. Holy, I like. Oh my god, I wish I had game. I can imagine this all this is so cool. Huh? I'm very confused. What the fuck is happening here? Oh my god, they're killing the panda. That's a business strategy? That's a bad business strategy. Actually, I want to go down. Oh. Why is it? What the fuck? It's the same floor. What the fuck is this nonsense? The before pages of the... Oh.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
What the fuck
Shocked,
is this man?
unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. Two, 8, 4, 5. Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself, and Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
What the fuck is start thing? What the fuck, now I'm scared, bro. Oh, this is the door, fuck. किसी को क्या ही पता चलेगा. Holy, I'm scared. I don't wanna jump, but I think I'll die if I jump. Oh, I didn't jump. Oh, I will die. Oh.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Oh my god, what the fuck was that?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word Escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
I want to try that.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Nah, I'll keep going.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
I won't die, buddy. Oh, fuck. Oh no. I'm not scared of it. Like, what the fuck is this? Oh shit, it was not lying. Oh no, I'm gonna die. Fuck.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life.
I'm not dying.
Farewell, Stanley.
No, I won't die. Oh no, 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 please no.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws.
No, I did not.
In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
I'm not dead, I'm alive. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I'm alive. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
I don't know, narrator is kind of sussy baka. So this is it, I found this irreparable.
When
Holy-
every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Oh fuck. Holy shit. It will have mugs? Where's the mugs, bro? Holy. This is so cool, holy shit. Pa-pa-da-pa-pa. It's fine, it's fine. I want to check the... Okay. Okay. I can't even jump over these things, bro. Stanley has no legs. See? No legs. My computer! Oh my god. What now? Oh, I've not gone here yet. I'm about to feel fighting aliens, oh my god. Nah, you can't make fun of shooters, I like shooters. From Michael Scott, let's go! How is this game? How is the game going? I hope it's as good or better than the first one. It's alright. Are you a rock? Yes, I am a rock. I'm the rock. What is this strange number? Could you tell me what's the significance of number 111280 is? I don't know. Well, the thing I want to know is what would you do if Sanjay entered any of the rooms? Who is Sergei Medvedko? I have burning missions on scale of max and Salvador Dali. Were you born with a magnificent voice or did you bargain with magical? Fuck. Okay, I'm bored here. Oh my god. Okay. Holy shit. Is the game over? I'm confused. I'm so confused. Wait, what the fuck was that?
Now look closely, Stanley. See how it's impossible for the player to do anything in this room. Perfect example of poor level design. Textbook mistake. Where were... Stanley stood on the snow.
Don't.
Stanley pushed the number 6.
अरे मस्त गेम है भाई, freaky game है. Like literally I am at the stage जहाँ पे सारे game developers are
Where
like
were
talking.
all of his co-workers? Oh, I don't know. How about they're throwing us a...
Like this is the like developer room or something, like जहाँ पे like this is the game design, this is how the assets of the game look, like everything is so like confusing and mysterious at the same time. What the fuck is that? Should I exit? Game over, जाके exit करते हैं I guess. This is like parts of the game. इसमें Q नहीं है, इसमें कुछ काम नहीं करता, इसमें सिर्फ WASD and interact है थोड़ा सा. I will catch it one day. Okay, I'm exiting.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another.
She is not the
How they both wish to be free.
I turned it off.
Can you see?
Q दबाने से
Can you
कुछ नहीं
see
होता.
how much they need one another?
Oh my
No,
god.
perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
Oh,
But
fuck.
listen to me. You
I'm
can
again
still
there.
save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail.
Okay.
Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game.
Oh my god. What the fuck is she telling me?
As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time...
Should I? Fuck. This is. Huh.
choose for you.
I'm about to die. Okay, GG's. Let's go.
Don't let...
Ah. I broke the game. I broke the game. Thank God. Hello, narrator. Wait, where is
All
the-
of his co-workers
Oh,
were
thank
gone.
God.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Wait, don't tell me it's fixed now.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
I died again, like for the 30th time.
The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
You can't find
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the
Shut up.
platform and plunged to his death.
Shut
Good job,
up.
Stanley.
Shut
Everyone
up.
thinks you are very powerful.
Yes, I am. Shut up.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
This is annoying.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay. I'll follow all your instructions now. Let's see.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
See?
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Like, this is his boss's office. Like, what the fuck is this office? Like,
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk.
I won't listen.
That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Yes. अभी भी तो खा साला. ओफर मरने वाला था क्या? नहीं तो साइलम चलता है. What the fuck? Oh my god.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Holy shit.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
हाँ exactly पागल होना रहा है bro. Holy. Like what the fuck? मैं आज तीसरी बार आया हूँ इस जगह पे पर डिफरेंट रास्ते से.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Okay, guys.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Yes, here's the control. The power.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you?
Yes, I
After
did.
they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me,
Shut
where
up.
we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start.
Shut
What's
up.
that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone.
Shut up.
Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left.
Shut
But I'm
up.
enjoying this so much.
Shut
You know
up.
what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not?
Yes,
These
thank
are
you.
precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off?
Yes.
I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room.
Of course,
These numbered
that's what I do.
buttons. No, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button. Or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me.
Yes.
Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is?
One.
Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy.
What the fuck
You
is
wanted
this
to control
shit
this
when I-
world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you
Oh,
can't.
I'm dead.
Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully?
I don't know.
Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable
up,
life from the
bro.
moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Oh no. Oof. I am dead for the 50th time, bro. This is annoying.
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time.
Yeah. Just a matter of time. I've been looking for them for 2 hours now, bro. What the
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
वाले को पता कर
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
कोई कैसे तुम्हें समझाए Damn.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Let's see.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Holy. Is happening.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty.
Oh.
Was it over? Yes. He had won.
Really?
He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away.
Seriously?
And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen.
Oh,
And Stanley was happy.
seriously? Like, seriously?
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was. Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content. Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure. Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it. I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley. All right. All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Finally I can jump, what the fuck?
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right? Goodness. Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe Now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
What?
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
I'm stuck. Huh?
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the... Oh. You don't want to see the cool surprise I made for you? Well, fine. You're a dork anyway, so who cares?
No, I want to come back.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first time, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
How do you know her?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Who is she?
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this.
Sweetie, sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. Sorry, but you're in my story now.
Uh-oh. Like like that attitude, bad boy.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do.
Oh my God.
Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby.
Shut up.
And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Shut up. I don't want to tell my kids a story. Shut up.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this freedom. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself.
Yes,
But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it. You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
sheesh. Oh god, I'm sleepy.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Wow, I never experienced this before. A game told him to die.
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! I want to show you something! Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past, and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look. I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Our first guess. What the fuck?
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now, a lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content. Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories. These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they? Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them. Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. To be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered. What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it, but if I had... Well, there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here, not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking, and you... Oh, hello, it's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time, I stopped keeping track after a year. But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review. The end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
What the fuck was that?
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time. Oh, good. You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you. You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2. Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really. Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features. For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button. Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love.
Jim.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim.
Jim.
All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now? Get out of here. I'm done with this button. Why don't you go humiliate me in front of a different feature that I worked very hard on? Maybe I'll only let people named Jim play the Stanley Parable 2. They would appreciate what I've created here.